Can't figure out why.
Can't figure it out. It's wild.
You know what else I can't figure out?
What can't you figure out, Kevin?
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to PixelLit. My name is Kevin. With me, as always, is Phil.
Hello.
And today, we're in episode 3 of Diablo, The Legacy of Blood. This charming little Diablo book by Richard A. Did we decide Knack or Knack?
I'm thinking Knack. When I see it, it's real easy. K and N is always a silent K to me.
Yeah. Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah.
It's got this, this guy who's suffering from Carpathian kitten loss on the cover.
Poor baby.
He's poor baby. He just misses his kitten.
He just misses his kitten. Oh, baby. Oh man. You watched that episode of Oops All Monsters too, huh?
Yeah. I did listen to Hess and Gavin dive into Vigo the Carpathian there. That is a good episode. I thoroughly recommend it, as Vigo is such a fun villain. And even though and I didn't know until I listened to the episode that it was Max von Sydow who did the voice.
That was news to me as well. That's crazy.
It's like, oh yes, that's right. The voice finally clicked in, and yes, that is Max von Sydow's voice.
That's so funny. Yeah. I was so looking forward to that episode because he's always. I loved Ghostbusters too. It was just more of the same.
Yeah, there is so many people I run into who have this real hate for Ghostbusters 2, and I have tried over the years to find really, I'll rewatch it and I'm like, this is just more Ghost. I love it.
Yeah,
it's the same guys. It's more.
Yeah, it's just more. It's not a huge improvement over the old system. It's not taking it in a different. It's just more. And what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
We're on chapter 11.
We are. And
as we left off last time, poor Kara is.
She
is one of the issues I have with this book is that it tries to put Kara as both a protagonist and a princess that must be rescued.
Yeah, they
simultaneously.
Really do give her the damsel treatment,
she is a damsel in distress and the protagonist.
Yeah.
At the same time, which I'm not sure I totally dig on. I wish she had a little bit more agency because she has been obviously doing making decisions to do things, but almost entirely out of duress under somebody else's guidance or what have you. I don't know.
When we get to a point, and we'll get to it obviously, but we get to a point later in this section of chapters where she is once again in a position where she's compromised in a way, but this time it's because of her status as a necromancer and not anything else, which is fine. But by that time, we've been worried about her simply based on the fact that she's a pretty lady for so long that by the time that comes around, you're just like, okay, she's already really established herself as more than capable of taking care of her own shit. I don't know why. Yeah,
we need to perpetually put her in this kind of compromising danger.
Right.
So anyway, we basically it's conversation between Kara and Captain Jeronin to start off the chapter, and Jeronin's basically like, "Hey, you don't look like you're doing too well there." She's like, "I'm fine."
Yeah, she's been locking herself away in her cabin, not talking to
anybody because she's got 2 zomboys hanging out.
Right. And by the way, I, for a while, up until this chapter, was assuming thinking of them as just ghosts because they've been portrayed as spirits and such. And no, they are ghouls. They are straight up revenants.
They're
undead.
They are undead They're vengeful undead revenants that are existing within the bodies of their fleshy corpses.
Yeah. They are totally corporeal, but we do find that something about the afterlife, or maybe it's the fact that one of them is a wizard.
Maybe
they're able to cast a spell that makes it that she's the only one who can notice.
Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with the Vigerai, Fauztin, having gotten control of her knife, her dagger,
right?
And because he was shown as being a pretty capable wizard. We don't know how familiar he was with necromancy. Clearly, just enough to be able to turn himself and his friend back into revenants from across the chasm between life and death during that brief window when she summoned his spirit down in the catacombs.
And they've just been ordering her around, and she basically has to obey at this point because they have that dagger, and that dagger, as we got a little glimpse of it in the beginning, where it is basically the tool of her trade. So she needs that thing back, but they want her to help them reach Norrec, essentially.
Yeah. The other thing is the difference between the two of them is Trist is trying to still pretend that he is alive.
He is deep in denial here.
Deep in denial.
It's really sad. We get a couple of awkward moments with him.
Yeah.
And this is the beginning of one.
He tries to eat food.
Yeah. He sees her eating food, and he's just talking about it looks like it tastes good, and it's very grungy Star Report types of dialogue that you're like, what is this is weird out of context.
Yeah.
And he tries to eat it, but he finds that he can't. He complains that it tastes of death.
Yep.
And that they should have, what is it? He said, like,
he says it's too long dead. They should have cooked it less, a lot less. I think maybe they should have not cooked it at all. The fresher, the better.
Yeah. There's this hint, basically. Now we're gonna find that these guys are actually it's weird. It's like they're okay guys on certain levels. They're not trying to kill her, and we're not even. Kara basically also intuits that they're not even particularly trying to kill Norrec. They don't like talk bad about him or anything. But these moments, like you get this moment where you're like, oh, I wonder if, given enough time like this, they would start becoming like flesh-eating ghouls, like eating raw, living flesh.
Yeah, and that's what Kara is worried about. Is like she's really hoping he doesn't connect the dots.
Right.
She's like, she has no desire whatsoever to prolong a conversation that might turn to exactly what types of meat the ghoul would think tasted best uncooked. Instead, Kara tried to turn back to the subject that most concerned her, that of Norrec.
Right.
She's like, I am changing the topic.
Yeah, we are not talking about meat anymore. So they've been hunting for Norrec. They hint that at a failure on the Hawk's fire that she knows a little bit about. But finally, like they've already kind of got her over a barrel with the dagger thing.
Yeah.
But that apparently isn't good enough for them. So Fauztin asks for her left hand and stabs her in the hand with her own dagger. Doesn't feel pain, but this ritual, they bind her to them, that essentially their lives and her life and their fate and her fate are entwined. So now she's got to help them, because anything that befalls them will also befall her.
Yep. Yeah. It's a real bummer of a move. Like
I mean, it sounds like she was probably going to be helping them anyway, because she wants her knife back.
She wants her knife back, and they're like, yeah, well, we're going to add a little extra onto that just guarantee that you are helping us.
It's a real kill your darlings move. You got to give it to the writer. He's like, no, man, we're not letting up on her.
Yeah. So basically Fauztin has communicated to Trist somehow, because remember, Fauztin doesn't have a throat or vocal cords anymore.
Yeah, his head's kind of always wagging on the side there.
Yeah, so Trist, the one Sadun Trist who can talk, basically lets her know that they're looking for another Viserai by the name of Drognin. And then cut to Drognin talking to Norrec.
it's a really great cut. I gotta say, like, we're looking for a sorcerer named Drognin. Cut to, my name is Drognin.
My name is Earl.
Oh man, I should have shut my damn mouth. I had a perfect opportunity for you to throw in an old timey meanwhile. That was the best meanwhile opportunity, and I robbed you of it.
You robbed me of the meanwhile. And known by the name Drognin. Meanwhile, my name is Drognin.
Thank you. There we go. I feel better. I was starting to have heart palpitations.
Vindicated. So he's basically Norrec's there to see Drognin because there's rumors that Drognin knows what the shit to do with this stupid armor.
And this is the same guy who, when we saw him last, was controlling all the guards and that kind of thing, and basically led Norrec to him in that fashion. So we know he knows his way around magic.
Yeah, he sure does.
Cool. Like, Norrec's like, this is great. He's going to get this armor off of me.
Yeah.
And that is not at all what Drognin promises.
Drognin's like, yeah, he's going to, if you hope, I believe my early words were closer to, if you hope to live, you will do exactly as I desire. So blackmail upon blackmail upon blackmail. This is just consecutive scenes of people being blackmailed by bullshit.
Yeah. This whole book, by the time we get to the end of this section, it is just a perfect Ouroboros of betrayal. Just everybody betrays everybody else. People have moved on and started new betrayals where there weren't any betrayals before. And this is just one of many. So Drognin makes it clear that it's not as simple as just like getting an uncursed spell essentially and getting Norrec's armor off. But he does claim that he has at this point full control of the armor through his magic powers. And Norrec, I think rightfully so, not feeling so good about this whole thing.
No, he's not feeling great about it. And basically Drognin, he wants Norrec's help. I say help with air quotes because it's more like he's telling Norrec, BT dubs, I need you to do a huge favor for me. Need you to go do the whole Diablo thing and raid a tomb for me. And it's going to be of Barduk's brother, Horizon. You're going to go down into the Arcane Sanctuary. Capiche?
and this is where I got excited, actually, because the thing I've been thinking as we've read this book, and I know it's been similar for you, is that this book is so not based on any specific actions within the game, to the point that it really is just the setting. Diablo is just the back, which has a lot of advantages, but it also makes you go, boy, how are they going to tie this into the game? And this is how. Like, it's like, we're doing a dungeon crawl. Got it.
Yeah.
Finally.
We got a dungeon crawl going on.
Halfway through the book. Yeah. So, Horizon, the one who betrayed Barduk.
Yes.
They got to go to his tomb.
Because Horizon's dead, right?
Right. That's the idea.
He's very dead. He's got a tomb.
Right? They only give tombs to dead people.
That
would be silly. Otherwise, I'd have 4.
Meanwhile, we're back with General Augustus Malevolyn and his
Malevolyn. Mal. Can I call you Mal?
Can we call you Mal? It's chapter 12, and he's walking around the encampment.
Kind of doing an inspection.
He's been in this encampment for 188 pages so far.
Yeah, they have not moved.
They have not quite moved yet.
No.
He starts hearing voices in his head.
Yeah, he's been wearing Barduk's helmet for like
quite a
while at this point.
Yeah,
and it made me think a little bit the way they described it. It really was a Diablo description, to be honest, because they're talking about how valuable the helm is to him, and it doesn't really match the rest of his armor. but he doesn't mind because of how valuable it is to him. And anyone who's played Diablo or World of Warcraft or any number of, slot-based, armor mechanic games with sets and all that shit has done that, where they're like, okay, the helmet looks kind of stupid with his armor, but it beats the shit out of anything else I've got, so we're just going to stick with Barduk's helmet. It doesn't matter that it doesn't match.
Yeah. And then, so he gets, during this scene, he gets called over by a sentry who leads him down a path, and it's, that scene in Empire Strikes Back where Yoda is telling Luke, hey, Luke's like, hey, what's over there? And Yoda's like, darkness. And
don't go in that tree.
Don't go in the tree stump.
Oh,
Captain Luke.
Stay out of the tree.
Stay out of the dead tree.
Out of the tree must stay you.
There's little bugs in there, and they bite.
We should probably just cut it down. It's gross. It's rotten inside, like the dark side.
You will be. So the sentry leads him. They do that scene.
They do that. I mean, for all it's just with bug demons instead.
It's with bug demons.
Yeah, he falls down. He loses his footing and falls down this kind of doomed area. And the guard who led him over, the guard pulls. It's like, man, Mal, what are you doing? Like the guard literally goes, sure, there's something over here you ought to see. Which, okay, fair enough. But he looks at it.
I don't see it.
What is it? What is it? What's over there?
You should stand over there.
That's literally what the guard says. The guard literally says. You could see it way better over. Mal, you fucking idiot. You don't deserve the armor of Barduk. You fell for the oldest trick in the book. Yeah. So he goes over there like fucking Elmer Fudd and falls into this pit that his sword disappears and the guard disappears. And
the guard was never there.
The guard was never there. Let's face facts. It was Bugs Bunny in a wig. We all know it.
It was Bugs Bunny.
Because what comes up are scarab demons, ladies and gentlemen.
It's scarab demons. Malevolyn proves his mettle, and who is the architect behind this spoopy little experiment, but none other than
Zorak. Zazax.
I was gonna say Space Ghost's organ player.
It's time to fight the scarab demons. He kills them. He doesn't have a blade, but a magical like energy blade appears in his hand, and he kills them. And then I actually thought this was an interesting detail. He like spreads their blood over his armor the way that Barduk would. Like he's clearly starting to. We already started to see moments of him getting his life and Barduk's life confused, and it's only continuing. But yeah. Zazax shows up, shows him his true mantis form, and tells him, because this voice in his head that you mentioned earlier has been saying, "Are you worthy? Are you worthy? Are you worthy?" And now Zazax like, "You're worthy, baby.
Yeah, you're worthy. You get to see me.
3 level 20 monsters in a pit, and you're worthy."
General Mal, Booby, you're my red knight.
You're my red. He's like, hell yeah, baby. So they basically say, he says you're worthy of getting the armor, but first you got to get the armor. So yeah,
you can have the armor. You just get it if you can get it.
Gotta get the armor. Yeah.
And Zazax, clearly have the authority to state that you can have it.
Right.
Because I am a demon.
Because I'm a big praying mantis, son.
I'm a big praying mantis, clearly.
So he tells Mal to keep him a secret. It's clear, and Mal is not, despite the fact that he fell for the walk over there trick, he's not completely stupid, and he realizes like, this guy wants to keep me a secret from like what's her name? Galonia. Or Galona. What's her name?
Galeona.
That's one of those.
One of those.
So he's like, why should I keep you secret? What's the big deal? And Zazak offers him a key, quote unquote, to make Luke Golain his, and apparently tells him we don't know what it is yet.
The key to the city.
Right. Which it turns out is an army of demons.
Army of demons.
That's the key to most cities, to be completely honest, especially New Orleans.
If you you can summon the evil dead, you're in good shape for city conquering.
But we don't know how he's going to do it, but we do have this moment where it's the reverse of dramatic irony. They talk amongst themselves about some apparently hideous thing that he must do when they are one day out from Luke Golain. And we do not know what it is, but they know what it is. So we have that moment.
We do. Meanwhile, back on the ship, things are getting really uncomfortable between Trist and Kara. Trist starts getting a little touchy with Kara.
Yeah, I don't care for this. It's like you're giving us rogue mains a bad name.
Yeah, he's at one point he says, "I wouldn't have touched her much.
Yep.
Didn't need the much.
Yeah,
just say you wouldn't have done anything." But the much is you just wandered right into a very assaulty gray zone, and I don't like this section.
He moved himself into her demilitarized zone and started shooting guns everywhere. He didn't point them at anybody, but boy howdy, that was live ammo.
He touched her hair.
He touched her hair. It was gross.
That's come on.
He's having problems with food, and now Kara's recognizing that as we said, he is having a really hard time being revenant
dead
and accepting that.
He does not. He's like what's that? The Night of the Living Dead, not the original, but the one that was in the 80s, or Return of the Living Dead or something like that, where it's with the Tar Man guy, and they're talking to the one zombie, and she's talking about how like being dead hurts. It's all it is pain, and eating brains is the only thing that alleviates that pain. That's kind of where Trist is right now.
That's basic, and he's still in like the early stages where he still thinks about food and how good food used to be, and now he's thinking about sex and how good. So once again, we get some unwelcome attention for poor Kara, from some guy, and he gets like silently rebuked by Fauztin. Fauztin does, and she's been suspecting that they can communicate.
They do some rotting brain talk.
Right, and that's when he says, "I wouldn't have touched her much," and and thankfully, before we have to think too much about that little
good old Mr. Draco interrupts the scene and is like,
"Thank you, Mr. Draco."
He's like, "Hey, Kara, you haven't been coming out of the room. What's going on? Hey, you need some fresh air, whatever."
Let's take a walk.
Let's take a walk. And she's like, "No, thank you." And he leaves, and then sudden Jeronin is like pops in there like the Kool-Aid man.
They like kick the damn door down, and briefly, honest to God, briefly, because I'm so jaded of it at this point. Like she says, "No, thank you," and they go, "Okay," and they close the door, and one of them just like barrels in and puts his elbow into the door to get in, and I'm like, why will no one in this woman's life take no for an answer? That is literally where my head went immediately.
Yeah.
But thankfully, the captain and his buddy Draco have been suspecting that something's wrong, that maybe something is going on with evil, quote unquote, in there, and this is kind of their chance to check it out and see it. Thank God it was, because if she was just like, I don't know, having a bad week or something like that and just wanted to be left alone, and they like throw their way in, that'd be hard to explain. Just like crash, boom. It's like, oh, I thought there might be
villains or demons in here.
Right.
Like clearly,
you thought that what? I know it sounds crazy. I just thought I'm gonna.
I gotta go.
It's Taco Tuesday, so
Taco Tuesday.
See you in the mess. If I'll have someone bring up a tray.
So yeah, they do burst in, and basically we've established earlier that Jeronin's sword is silver, and like Sadun Trist is like, whatever, I'm just gonna grab this dude's sword, and the sword cuts his fingers off because it's silver and can hurt him / kill him. So the fingers get cut off on Sadun Trist, and Kara is the one who feels the pain of fingers being cut off.
It really sucks, in fact. It's I was listening to the episode y'all did for Godzilla the other day, and talking about how the I do this and you feel the pain is such a like creepypasta kind of trope. At this point, I immediately thought of that. But yeah, the captain doesn't. He says, "I won't let it happen again." And you realize he's thinking of having to kill his own daughter with his silver sword, and he doesn't want to do it to poor Kara here. He wants to avoid that. But ironically, of course, in the process, makes her feel like her fingers have been cut off. Thankfully, they aren't.
They aren't. No, she just feels it.
Yeah.
Which is,
still pretty bad.
That's still pretty bad.
Still pretty
bad. So Kara tries to explain it to Jeronin, like, hey, don't do anything, and they cast an enchantment on me, and he goes, which is why you couldn't say anything, yar. And she's like, no, that's not the enchantment. Nobody let me talk.
Oh my God, would you listen to me?
Nobody will let her explain anything.
It's like this book should be called Diablo, Kara, and the Adventures of Mansplaining. Like,
yeah, I honestly, that would be a good subtitle, because if you threw out everything else and just had Kara's chapters, Kara's adventures through mansplaining.
Yeah, people don't even mansplain to the fucking witch as much as they do to Kara. Like, they don't value her, sure, but I just feel like even the good guys, even the guys who are really nice, are just not listening to her at all.
Right.
My fiance was telling me something about that, but I wasn't really paying attention. So. I'll ask her again later if I think about it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Classic.
Classic.
So she's being held by Draco, and then without wanting to, she ends up punching him, like attacking him because she's being controlled by Fauztin, and they open this blue portal that will go directly into the sea, and basically yank her into the portal with them and crash into the ocean.
Yep. And that's it.
12.
That's chapter 12. That's the end of the chapter.
That's the end of the book.
And then they died. And nothing happened after that.
Yeah, and it said, and it says at the end, look forward next year to Diablo 2, with new Necromancer expansion.
Yes. And then it just cuts to a scene of Norrec walking away from a high school with his fist in the air,
right?
And Don't You Forget About Me starts playing in the background.
And you can see this long trail of smoke behind him coming from the high school, because he's still up to his old ways, that wacky Judd Nelson.
Don't you forget about me. Don't. Okay, Tomb of Horrors.
It's about time that was our theme song, Kevin.
I agree. If I could get away with putting that as our theme song without getting like copywritten stricken.
Copy struck?
Copy strike.
Copy strike. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
That's the word. Anyway, we're in the Tomb of Horrors on. I think it's in italics, which has been previously all dream shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And Norrec making his way through the Tomb of Horrors and seeing like all these people that only Barduk would know.
Yeah.
And he finds this shrouded figure in the coffin. And the coffin's hand grabs him and pulls him into the coffin with him, and he's awoken.
He's awoken. Damn it.
Drogon woken.
I'm not dead, is the first thing he says.
Right. Shoot. I was really hoping this time this was the end.
So like, oh man, I barely remember this chapter. What the heck is happening here?
It's a weird
I just
chapter.
listened to it. Why do I not remember it? It was 2 hours ago.
It's
Phil?
a weird. Maybe.
Is it?
Maybe.
Is it because it happens?
Start taking notes, Kevin. Oh. You never should have let me know that.
I never should have let you know that.
I've just been operating under the illusion that you were doing the same thing I was.
I never should have mentioned that I never take notes.
No. Frankly, the your ability to recall all this shit most of the time without taking notes. I take notes because I'm a fucking idiot. So I need notes, or else I will go, there was a page, there were words, like that's it. So, but in moments like these,
I remember the chapters after this, and then it's like there's this void in my brain of they do something in the Tomb of Horizon.
Right. Right. But it isn't real?
It isn't real?
Yeah. No, basically he had a dream. Dragon wakes him up and basically demands that he tell him about his dream. It's like the reverse of, that coworker who needs to tell you every fucking dream they had.
Yeah.
It's that person's ultimate dreamboat because he wants to know every detail about the dream. And so he believes, he basically translates it and said, you saw the Tomb of Horizon.
You know where it is.
Right. And basically explains that Barduk and Horizon, even if one betrayed the other, even if they hated each other, they are fully bonded, even in death. And so, this is further evidence to him that they need to train, essentially. And this is where you cue the 80s exercise montage, you go, you're the best. All right, like
no one's ever gonna bring you down.
Right, it's the dream version of that. Like he wants him to have more dreams, so he can practice essentially. So he starts this ritual to get them underway, to get him started on training, I guess. So Norrec finds himself in the crypt again. But this time he starts seeing flashes of his own life, like old soldiery days, women he's been with. He even sees that weird ass captain that he freaked out earlier. So it's it's his life literally flashing before his eyes. And then he finds himself, he starts hearing Drogon shouting, "Fight it!" And he realizes he's kind of on the outside looking in on his own, in the armor, fighting Drogon. And it becomes clear that Drogon thought that he had control of the armor, but the armor was just playing dead.
Fucking with him.
Right.
The armor's always there.
Right. The armor's always there. The armor wanted the location of Horizon's tomb.
Yeah.
And so now that it has it, it's fighting at full force, trying to kick the snot out of this panty waist wizard and take over again and make their way down to the tomb. And this outside force ends up fighting against Barduk, and boom, we get the big colossal bright light explosion kind of thing. And Norrec finds himself shouting some magic words, and meanwhile,
we got Galliona, and they're on the move.
She is so weirded out by Mal right now.
Yeah, she's totally weirded out. And I like that they had lost one man to the sand maggots and another to the heat of the desert itself. And I was like, what are they on Dune or something?
Kind of. A little bit. When we've met one of those sand maggots, we know they're no joke.
And and then there's a big old fat guy on a platform, and he says, "The spice must flow." Yeah.
But Mal is walking. He's Mal to me now, by the way. He's Mal.
He's Mal.
In all my notes, it says Mal, so he's Mal. He's suddenly in this really good mood all the time. We know why he's in a good mood, but she has no idea. But the one thing she knows correctly, I might add, is that Zazax is somehow to blame.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting that sweet mantis dick now.
Right. He's getting it in his brain, which is where all the best mantis dick goes. You just... Why did you take my line?
I wanted to get to it before you did, because I had a feeling that you might go there.
He's got a. I mean, the thing about Zazax is he's got a huge penis. It's about that big.
Yeah.
So like that. Rest in peace, Bob Saget. I miss you. Gotta light another candle in his name. So the conditions are really bad.
The aristocrats.
The aristocrats, yeah. That's what this whole podcast is leading up. We're gonna hit the year anniversary and just end it with the aristocrats. The geekiest, most esoteric aristocrats that ever existed. People don't believe me when I tell them what our podcast is about. You know that?
No, I understand. I
get it. Oh yeah, I hold no grudge against them.
We talk about books based on video games. And they're like, really? And they're like, oh, yeah.
Like, wait, so you talk about? Oh, that's interesting. So you like read Jason Schreier books and stuff like that?
Mm-mm.
No. Those nothing academic to be found here. They decided to take a break, and Mal's just literally sitting there humming a jazzy tune to himself, thinking about how much he loves war. He's literally over there.
Fucking love war.
He is Patrick Batemaning out, just humming Huey Lewis in the News to himself and thinking about all the blood and screams that he's going to be responsible for.
He's about to do a monologue on what is it, 4 or sports?
On sports, yeah. He's about to tell you all about Phil Collins, and he's just and she offers, says, I could do another search spell, maybe help us narrow down where this armor is, and he says no thank you, which she knows is bad news, because that means that her suspicions are correct. And he does not need her, really.
No, he doesn't. He's like, yeah, whatever. And she locks in. She's like, well, I'm gonna do it anyway. Right. And she does a spell and locks in on Norrec, figuring out where he is. And the chapter ends with a menacing, wicked witch of the West. I have you, my pretty puppet.
It's hilarious. She finds a little sand dune and hides behind it and literally makes like a sand doll out of sand and her blood.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be Barduk's armor, and whoever's wearing it, like, it's her reaching out to him. And yeah, it's like, but and I thought that was cool. That's the thing. If there's one thing Richard Knack is getting right in these books, is the rituals. And we've talked about this many times before, the outside the box approach to some of these rituals are hilarious, or just plain galling and fucked up, like the sand doll. So it's like, you're like, oh, she's like mixing her blood in with the sand, making a little
blood and sand.
Oh, it's so cool. And then she literally, I'll get you, my pretty. Like, okay.
And your little armor too.
Right. It's like, oh, okay.
Meanwhile, Kara's on the beach, basically. She wakes up on the beach. Not in
the way that every other male character in this book would assume she's on the beach, by the way.
No, she is not in good shape. She basically fell through the portal, landed on the beach. Trist and Fauztin are nowhere to be found. Yeah. And she's just kind of like, oh, of course.
Yeah. She really does. She really is this moment of like her like waking up and coughing up seawater and going, "What the hell?"
And she's like calculating whether the king's shield Geronan ship is okay. Did the portal wreck a hole in the ship? What's going on? And she basically just gets up and she starts walking. She runs into basically some fellow journeyers on the road. A couple of wagons, a family,
wagon train,
a family in a wagon train. Basically, she stumbles into Oregon Trail.
Right.
And asks if she can borrow.
It is 4 people, and frankly, they're all alive so far, so they're doing pretty good.
One of them has dysentery, though.
Right, but we don't find that out until the climax of the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it, but it's kind of nice because it's I will say everyone is nice to Kara when they're not sexually harassing her. They're really nice, and these people see her. She's soaked to the bone. Her clothes are fucked up. And they've got, it's like a mom and a dad and a daughter and a son, and they say, hey, to the daughter, go get her a blanket, get her some clothes, all that shit. And she brings her some clothes, and they give her new clothes and a blanket. She pays for it. Like, they try to not take her money, but she pays for it. But they make a point of saying that this girl's blouse is too tight and too low cut. So our necromancer is very boobalicious right now, apparently. And they even make a point that like the son is just like oogling her the whole trip into Luke-Ghislaine. And once again, she's just that poor woman who's just like, just look straight ahead.
Just ignore.
Don't rock the boat. We don't want people to think you're a bitch. Just go with the flow. But she catches a ride to Luke-Ghislaine because thankfully she washed up on the right shore.
Yeah, she washed up on the perfect shore to catch that ride to Luke-Ghislaine. Right. And while she's there, basically she has decided to seek out. She's also decided to seek out Drognin because everybody's looking for fucking Drognin.
Everyone, he's the living MacGuffin right now.
He is the MacGuffin. He is like it's like either the armor or Drognin, or both, preferably.
Right. If you get both, you complete the set and get all kinds of bonuses.
You get all kinds of bonuses. She gets there to where Drognin is supposed to be, and instead she just finds an old man, and it is not. Do you remember chapter 2?
Yes. We get.
That's what this is. That's what this guy is from.
I think this is our Dune friend.
This is our Dune friend,
and he protects her from these mosaic warriors, which I thought were really neat. I don't know. I don't recall if these are in the game or not.
Yeah, she was basically like fighting them, and she would like split them apart, and then they would just reform.
Yeah, and it was really neat. And she uses the Teeth of Trangul, which is indeed a necromancer attack from Diablo 2. So we've got another direct tie-in to the game there. But yeah, this beggar she's freaked out by him, by the way. Like, I think you and I and most people who read this immediately go, oh, it's the Dune guy. It's the weird
Dune guy who's super weird and
yeah. He's a good guy, right? Because he says weird things.
He's a good guy
in a fun way.
He says there's a lot of evil around here.
Right, and he's right because there is.
There's just so much fucking evil.
So much evil.
I mean, I don't know if you need any special powers to really guess that.
No, that's a good point. He has at least 3 dots in perception for that one, but that's about it. It doesn't take much. But but she's not convinced about this dude.
No, I like the Richard Knapp describes him as the madcap figure.
right. And he also says, I think he says something like she looked at he must have been the oldest person who was ever alive. Like,
and we find out some things about him later that maybe maybe he is.
He might be, yeah. So the mosaic monsters are like, he disrupts them and hides her when who shows up but Drognin. he shows up and he it's very cartoonish in a way. Like this big fight is happening, magic spells are going off and explosions, and all of a sudden it's silent, and he grabs her mouth and covers it up, and Drugden walks in and sticks his head in. He clearly just came back from the drugstore, and he's like, Norrec? Is that anyway, Bootsy? Is it the cat? Was that Boots?
Was that the cat? Was that
Boots?
And he cannot see them.
No, he can't see them.
He cannot see them. Even though she's like, yeah, that's the guy I'm looking for. The old man's like, no, it's not. You're not looking for anybody. Let's be quiet and invisible right now.
Let's all just sit here quietly and play. Let's play the quiet game.
Let's play the quiet game. And
my magically enforced.
And then she says, and then the old man says, my brother will never find us. And she's like, holy shit, this old man is Horizon.
Horizon lives.
Horizon lives. Yeah.
And then Yap shows up.
And then Yap shows up, and
he just runs through screaming.
And then he comes back with a tray of cupcakes.
Right, and we all sit, and it's great.
And everybody sits crisscross applesauce and enjoys cupcakes and tea.
Someone write that fan fiction. Put us into it. The PixelLit Halo Diablo crossover
that everybody wants. It's
everyone's asking.
Everyone's asking.
You hear it from a lot of people.
Yeah, it's the sweeted version of the book.
Right.
Which, if you don't know what that is, the listener, there is a movie called Be Kind Rewind, starring Jack Black, right? Yeah, Jack Black.
Jack Black and Mos Def.
Mos Def, yeah. And they accidentally erase an entire video store worth of tapes, and then so that they don't get fired, they start recreating the movies. It's
because it's the guy who that weird director. Is it the guy who made Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Was it Michel Gondry?
Yes, Gondry. Yes, I believe that was Gondry. And it's just so charming. And guys, if you haven't seen Be Kind Rewind, I haven't seen it in years. I got to watch it again. But it's just so pure and sweet, and it's a lot of fun. You really ought to check it out.
Yeah.
That's one of our many recommendations here.
Yeah. Totally. So anytime I say sweeted, that's what I'm referring, because they called the tapes that were they said that they were the Swedish version of the movie, so they were sweeted. They sweeted the tapes.
Right. That's what this is. That's what they want. We should be hanging out with Yap and Horizon eating cupcakes.
Yeah.
I think we've earned it. We've put in nearly 40 years each on this planet. Yep. I think we deserve that.
We deserve it.
Yeah. So meanwhile,
Norrec
is having another bad day.
He is not having a good day.
He's making his way. He's been banished, quote unquote. He's in this outside of the city again in the desert. Like the spell that was cast,
whatever we're just left to fill in the gap, but whatever was left. Oh, one of the things that I forgot to mention is what's his name? Drognen has like a black eye.
That's right. When he comes back in, he looks like shit. Like she looks at him, she's like,
shit kicked out of him.
Went down. Yeah, that's right. Like he's alive. It's actually kind of perfect when you think about it, because it's the author showing us he's alive. He made it out of that alive, he's
alive. He's a little bit of a badass because he can face off against Barduk's armor and live.
Right,
but
and then
still
go get
got
Chinese
the shit kicked out of him
and come back. Yeah. He got Mongolian beef. He was like, "I've earned this. I've had a bad day.
It's my cheat day.
I'm just gonna
my General Tso's, and I'm gonna.
I can have this. I can have it today. Don't make it a regular part of the diet.
I'm just gonna sit and watch some Gilmore Girls, and
I earned this. And we're gonna watch it until it gets to season 6, because that's when it all starts to go downhill.
Yep.
Fucking Luke and his long lost daughter. Who thought of that shit? Anyway, General Tso's is and I think some lo mein.
Some lo mein will solve the problems.
I've got some unresolved issues.
Some unresolved season 6 and 7 issues with Gilmore Girls.
We don't talk about those seasons in this house.
We don't talk about those seasons.
It just makes people mad.
Norrec is walking back to the city again.
Yeah. It sucks. Like, he's just constantly. The man never even has so much as a horse.
Yeah,
he's always just plodding through the elements. And so he's got like 2 hours left of good light.
Yeah,
before it all goes. So he's immediately like, well, I
might as well start walking.
Yeah, he is so resigned to his lot at this point. He's like, yeah, of course this happened. Of course I was at least in a building before.
Yeah.
And now I'm great. Okay, fine. So he's like, I need to look for shelter because the sun's going down. This sucks. And just when you think it couldn't get any worse,
he gets attacked by, they don't say harpies, but they're basically like vulture harpy shitheads.
Yeah,
attack him.
Manticore-y
yeah,
like nasty tails and human and bird and well, maybe not manticore then, but just it's
they're not
nasty.
fun. They're not fun. He says they've evolved from vultures.
Right. And the suit does nothing.
The suit is like, I don't know. And so Norrec is like, all right, well, I just gotta fight it like good old Norrec would fight. And he starts fighting these things and he starts killing them. But it basically the montage starts paying off because he starts casting spells through the armor. He blows one up. He grabs it by the tail and he sets it on fire in his hand.
Yeah,
he does that.
He tells it to burn. He says, and it burns.
He says, "Burn."
Yeah, and it works, which is friggin' cool, man. And he's thrilled. Like, this is the best news he's gotten in a long time. Because he's just angry and in need of something to take some fury out on. And by the way, there are monster vultures here, so let's do that instead. And the gauntlets are glowing red. He's setting them on fire, and they're all dead. Everybody's dead except for Norrec. And he looks at the armor and he says, "Get me water."
And he gets some water.
The water. A spring appears, and he's like starting to feel. It feels like he's starting to drink the armor's Kool-Aid.
You know what this scene is? It's the end of Spider-Man 2. And Spider-Man is fighting Doc Ock, and Doc Ock is basically Alfred Molina in one of his best acting moments of his life.
Oh, greatest. Absolutely.
Acting against these tentacles. It says, "You listen to me now," to the tentacles in order to save New York from the fusion reactor. And that's the scene that is basically happening right now. Is the armor is Doc Ock tentacles. Instead of controlling him, he's now controlling them.
Exactly. And so this is kind of like our first moment of happy Norrec. Not maybe not good happy. This might not be happy that we want to sustain, but happy. It's something, I guess.
Living in the sunshine, having a wonderful time. Things that bother you don't bother me. Da, ba, da, ba, da, ba.
Just it's not quite there, but for all intents and purposes, he's starting to drink the armor's Kool-Aid.
Rip Tiny Tim. He's
two.
He's been dead for a long time, hasn't he? I can't remember.
He has a long time. Tiny Tim's armor.
Tiny Tim's armor.
You wear it and it forces you to play the ukulele.
You play the ukulele and skip.
Yeah, exactly. The haunting soprano voice
with that haunting falsetto, male falsetto.
Oh boy, what a creepy career that man had.
Right.
Yeah. For our younger listeners, Google Tiny Tim. and skip past all the Christmas Carol shit.
You will recognize the song "Living in the Sunshine." It has been used enough for various memes over the years.
Or Tiptoe Through the Tulips, that one also,
yeah. So go Google that and you'll know exactly. Living in the Sunlight, sorry. And he would like roll his eyes while he sang. He was a real.
It was something. I don't. Yeah, he was a one of a kind original. Like you cannot. That was like on an Andy Kaufman level of like bizarre.
The 1960s is pretty much the only time that someone like Tiny Tim could have existed. Just that weird primetime TV weirdness.
Like that was a time when like you had people on your talk show, not necessarily because they were pitching a new movie or some damn thing, but because they had some weird ass trait or talent or something. And you went, that people will talk about that all day tomorrow. Let's put them on.
Let's put it on and be like, and we have our good friend coming back. Tiny Tim is coming back out to sing his new song, Living in the Sunlight. And this segment's sponsored by Lucky Strikes.
Right. Yeah. Old talk shows used to be Vine for all intents and purposes. It was just like, let's bring someone out. Here's a gentleman who will juggle his poodles. And the guy comes out and juggles the poodles. And you're like, wasn't that excellent? Great. And up next is the woman who will eventually marry Tommy Lee. And we're just going to listen to her do voices. I don't know. It's 1957.
It's 1957. Up next is Lawrence Welk.
Right. What are you going to do? We got 3 channels, kids. What do you want?
What are you going to do?
Yeah,
I dare you. I dare you to change the channel from Lawrence Welk.
Turn it off. I dare you.
Turn it off. I dare you. What are you gonna do? You're just gonna
taste the end of your father's belt.
It's just gonna be a dark, dim reflection of your life staring back at you when that TV turns off.
Yeah, that's it. So that's it. What are you gonna do?
Light up a Lucky Strike.
Yeah.
Crack open.
You're going to Vietnam in a few years. Just fucking watch the show.
Watch the show.
Watch the show. You're gonna miss this when you're in the bush.
Meanwhile,
I think we may have snapped for a minute there.
That's what Tiny Tim does.
That's what Tiny Tim does to you. It's a weird life. So chapter 15.
Yeah, we get back with Zazax and Augie Mal. Mr. Mal is
Augie Mal.
Yeah.
Every time you say you called him General Mal earlier, and I thought I heard you say General Mao, and I was like, Council. What was his name? It was Mao
Zedong. Yeah.
Chairman. I was like, I wanted to,
Chairman Mao.
You said General Mal, and I almost immediately went Chairman Mao.
Chairman Mal and his friend Lenin the Mantis.
Right. They're just hanging out.
They're hanging out, plotting, and Galliona's tent now is like been moved further and further away.
Right. And it's man, I'll tell you what, I didn't realize how, we knew that Mal saw her as disposable.
Yeah.
We knew. But man, he is so ready to get rid of her.
He's
looking
so
for any
ready.
excuse.
He's like, he's like, women can be replaced. But there's only a few moments that somebody has in their life where they can grasp immortality. And I was like, there's no moments. There's typically no moments that you can get that.
Probably none. Probably none. Even when you really, really try. And so he just basically offers her up to Zazax. He's like, you wanna take her out? I'll give you permission. Go take her out. And Zazax goes, maybe you should do that. It's because Zazax can't do anything to her.
Yeah, that's part of their deal. And if one thing's demons do, it's honor deals.
Oh, absolutely. We all know that. Yeah, so it's kind of a trap though, because Mal basically did that so that he could know for sure. He's like, okay, Zazax can't do anything to Galeona. He would have otherwise, but he can't. So he can't touch her. Something's going on with that. So
yeah,
take that information nugget and put it in your shoebox.
Put it right in the shoebox.
Put it in there with your dice and sewing thread.
There's a moment in this chapter that is front of mind, where and I'm trying to find the exact wording, but basically Malevolyn is talking about how he's talking about how he hasn't heard of like a certain demon.
Yes. Oh, I know. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, yeah. So they're for context, everyone they're doing a ritual. They're going to do this ritual thing, the horrible thing,
yes,
that they have to do. And so he's like, okay, so you draw a thing in the sand, draw a symbol. They've been bringing in guards and all that shit and using this magical dagger to accept a blood oath from them, which isn't unusual in that army, apparently. Like, before they go and do some badass shit, he demands a blood oath, and so it cuts their palms. And, it's a blood brother kind of thing. So they're doing all this, and Zazax tells him that he has to speak the name of the demon, Belial.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like, he's like, and Malevolyn's like, I never heard of Belial. I've heard of Diablo. I've heard of, like, lists them off, and it's like, do you mean he means like, do you mean like Baphomet? And Zazax is like, stop talking.
Shut up. Like, I know this demon and this demon and this demon. Are you talking about Baphomet? He's like, shut up. I don't fucking say his name.
Don't say the wrong demon name. You gotta say the right demon name.
Fuck this up. You have no idea how petty these people are. They're like teenage girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I literally wrote in my notes, he says he has to speak the name Belial. Quote, I don't know her. Yeah, and
here we go. Here's the page. Amazing. Hold the dagger over the center and speak the name of my infernal lord. Speak the name of Belial. And then Malevolyn goes, who's Belial? I know of Baal, or Baal, and Mephisto, and Diablo. But now of this Belial, do you mean Ba? Speak not that name again. And...
And then he
goes, there's no master in hell save Belial. And he's like, It is he who offers you this wondrous gift. And then Malevolyn was like, knew that hell had once been described as being ruled by 3 prime evils.
He knows the gist of history.
He's like, okay, Belial it is.
Yeah, I love that he says, I just wanted to make sure I was saying the name right. Like... Isn't that what he says? He's just like,
I just wanted to make sure that I'm saying the name right.
I'm totally worshiping Belial.
Belial.
I'm absolutely worshiping Balza. He's belly woo woo. I'm totally worshiping him. I just wanted to make sure I got the name right.
Balsacabub, right? That's it.
Yeah, obviously. Obviously.
And I think earlier we had established that Belial is pretty much losing whatever war is going on down in hell.
Yeah, it ain't going great. Diablo is like breaking out his brothers and all that shit. It's not great. Yeah, he's on the losing end right now.
So Zazak's a little extra sensitive about it.
Right. It's a little the insult to injury is a little sharper for Zazax right now. So yeah, he's not taking it well. So yeah, they do that, and they plunge the dagger into the shape in the sand, and nothing happens. And so Zazax, he's like, just step back, give yourself a minute. And so Mal says, okay. And he opens himself a little wine, and as he opens the wine, he starts hearing screaming from outside of his tent. The entire camp starts screaming, and eventually it all dies down, and Mal goes outside, and Zazax interprets him going out as like, oh no, my men, what's happened to my men? And and Mal, he says, it's too late, you can't do anything about it. And Mal says, I don't want to do anything about it, I'm toasting them. And and they say that this is basically the time that Zazek sees the real Mal, just how psychopathic and ambitious and evil he is. And their blood oath has essentially transformed. They were all essentially bodies to be filled by demons from all over hell. So he has, it's like the pig scene in Willow. Where the witch comes out and turns them all to pigs. Like that's, yeah, you're all pigs. Which, that scene fucked me up as a kid. That scared me to death. And he's got this army of demons, and now their
teeth are now fangs, and their tongues have become forked, and their eyes are red blood, and they all hail Malevolyn of Westmarch, the warlord of blood.
It's a pretty cool scene.
It's pretty cool.
This guy writes demons. Like, he's good at writing.
He knows his fucking demons.
He really does. It's pretty cool. So across. Like somewhere on the other side of the dudes, Galeona, she like senses the spell.
Yeah, she is
far from camp.
She is so far from the encampment that she doesn't even hear anything, but she knows that the spell was cast.
right, and it's just like and she's used her search spell. She's hot on the trail of Norrec. She's like trying to figure out. She knows something freaked out Zazax, and she can't figure out quite what that is, but she knows that. Okay, time to start a new character. I gotta go to Norrec, this Norrec guy, and I gotta seduce him, use my feminine charm. It's kind of like when you play Skyrim for like 60 hours,
right?
And you specialize in stealth, bow fighting, and sneaking and all that shit. You're a long range rogue essentially, and you play it that way for 60 hours or so, and then like half a year later, you come back to the game and you're like, I'm going to play in a new way. I'm going to try like a two-handed warrior type or a wizard or something like that. And you just specialize in bow and stealth again. Like she's like, I need a new plan. And that new plan, the old plan was to seduce a psychopath with horrible ambitions of blood and murder. And now I'm going to seduce a psychopath with horrible ambitions of blood and murder. It's gonna work.
It's gonna work.
So yeah.
Fool me once, Galeona said.
Yeah. This is all dudes want.
You can't fool the fooler.
Right. Yeah. This is working out great.
Dudes want one thing, and it's disgusting.
It's blood red armor.
Blood red armor. Galeona basically just she is on her way. She's like, yeah, I'm out of here. And she continues on, and she finds the figure of a man seated, just chilling out. He's taking a break from walking, and it's Norrec. It's Norrec
hanging out.
He's
found a little shelter.
He's found shelter from the sand and all that stuff. And Norrec recognizes her.
She has infiltrated his dreams.
As the face that he saw on the Hawksfire. And she like basically feigns being a damsel in distress because obviously she knows the way to Norrec's heart is to be a female fantasy trope.
Right. And she kind of checks him out too. Like we talked about this earlier, but like everyone's horny on Maine in this book.
100%. She basically comes to the decision that like, I could bone him.
Yeah, she's like, this won't be so bad. I fucked the other guy and that was all right, but this guy, I could fuck this guy. This would work out.
Yeah.
It's like he's not old or ugly. This'll probably do. So he does this thing where he like summons fire like as a magical spell, and that kind of puts the fear of God into her in a way where she says, oh shit, that's not something he should know how to do at this point.
Right.
Like this is advancing very quickly.
Yeah.
But she does introduce herself as a sorceress. She does the damsel in distress thing, and he basically says, I need a sorceress, so that works out great. And she says, why? And he says, I need someone to help me find Horizon's tomb, because that's my brother's tomb.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So everyone thinks they're Barduk.
Everyone thinks that we got 2 Bartuks going on right now, and that's too many Bartuks.
Barduk is like the fucking like Tyler Durden of the Diablo world. Everyone's got his poster on their wall.
You ever see that? What was it? That Adult Swim video? Too Many Cooks.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's what we got right now. We got
too many Bartuks.
Too many Bartuks. We got 2, and that's too many. You know,
and that's way too many. There should be 0.
We got a Barduk with the helmet, and we got a Barduk with the armor. They both think they're the Warlord of Blood.
And eventually they come together. You get the full set. Double Barduk. Synergistic Barduk.
One of them is going to be. You hope when you pull it, one of them's a foil.
Right. Shiny. You get shiny Barduk.
You got a shiny Barduk, but as long as you keep it in mint condition in a case, I think it'll have good resale.
It's good to have a double.
It'll have good resale value in a couple. You can use one and save the other.
Yeah, you keep one in the plastic and show it off later, and maybe sell it when you need beer money.
Yeah,
that happens.
I feel like one of the comic book stores I went to in college, there was like a Black Lotus card for Magic the Gathering, just like stapled to the wall. It was like it was in like rough shape, so it was just like.
That's hilarious. I remember when I used to play a lot of Magic, there was a guy in the game store in Savannah who came in, and he had like the shredded up remains of this card that was early. I forget what it was called, but the whole idea of the card was that you took the card, you cast the spell,
and then you
tear the card, and drop it, and anything it landed on got destroyed or something. And he had like the confetti of one of those cards. It was one of his little relics.
It's from one of those joke expansions that they did. Because I remember one of the creatures in that was 4 cards. Like you had to like have all 4 cards, and it was like 4 corner pieces that you had to put together.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And yet like to cast it.
When do they do that again? They haven't done one of those in a while.
Maybe they have. I don't know. I have not paid attention to.
I've been playing Magic Online for the past like couple of years.
Oh, right. So you got
it's my little side game.
It's your little side game is getting those.
I don't play WoW anymore. So I play Magic. And this way I don't have to lug a bunch of cards everywhere. It costs me
that's
half as much. It's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's good to have hobbies.
I think. Well, we know a little bit.
We know a little bit about that.
A little bit.
That'll do it for today's episode. How you feeling about the book right now?
I'm liking it. I like this guy's writing. I really do.
Yeah.
But if he I feel like this is like literary edging. Like we are so close to just like blowing a load on the inside of the garage.
That's very specific.
I had a weird childhood, and it was a weird Wednesday. But it's just like we're building up. We're like with the Galleona thing. I thought we were finally going to get one of the characters have a comeuppance of some kind. Surely by now, with as many treacherous characters as we have, someone would have died by now. But we are 75% of the way through the book, and no one, even the people who have died, are still here.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, there's been no real deaths yet, with the exception of nameless crew members on the Hawksfire, who got their souls.
A bunch of red shirts.
A bunch of red shirts got killed. They got their souls sucked out by a tentacle monster.
Right, and that's about it. So we need this climax to be like, it's gonna need to be like the first time you saw the usual suspects.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna need him to throw out
a real Kaiser Sose
yes.
moment is gonna need to happen.
Or else it's just gonna feel kind of bric-a-brac and thrown together. He is built up. If we were at this point in the book, but we were only halfway through the book, then I might say, okay, we've got a lot more to go. We've got a lot. It's about ratio.
Yeah, you know? yeah.
But we've only got 5 chapters left in the book.
Yeah.
And so shit's gonna have to happen like now.
Right.
So I'm very interested. I'm still holding that hope.
Yeah.
But it's I'm it's very interesting.
I feel like this could be a very Shakespearean everybody dies type of ending.
Sure. I think it kind of has to be.
At this point it kind of has, like everyone's gonna.
It does. I don't think many people can survive.
And like I would say everybody but Kara.
Right.
Poor Kara.
Right. And she's a necromancer, so
yeah. Dying is only one part of her life cycle anyway.
Right, exactly. That's just the pupa.
That's just the pupa. If she wants to become a lich, she's gonna have to die at some point.
You gotta die, man. if you want to get that sweet undead power, you gotta find a phylactery and you gotta die.
Or you end up like Frederick de Bonesby.
Oh, poor Frederick.
Poor Frederick de Bonesby.
I want one of those shirts. There was the shirts they do that it's just a skull with a wig on top of it. It's been a long time since I've listened to the podcast, but I still want that.
You gotta listen to at least the recent episodes with what Christopher Hastings is doing with the Bonesby.
Oh God, yeah, I know.
We're talking about Rude Tales of Magic, by the way.
Yeah, if you guys aren't, it's literally the only Let's Play. Not Let's Play.
Actual
what do they
play.
call those? Actual play. It's the only actual play that has ever been able to keep my attention.
Yeah.
For any extended amount of time. There are amazing Let's Plays out there that, in theory, I should be a devoted worshiper of.
Right.
But they just never keep me.
Yeah.
And Branson Reese is one of the funniest people on the friggin' planet.
Yeah.
So that helps.
Yeah. Yeah. And he has his own TV show now.
I know.
Which
Swan Boy,
yeah. Which I have not watched yet, but I need to check out. So anyway, that'll do it for tonight's episode. Thank you for listening. If you can, rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave us a review. Follow us on Twitter at PixelLitPod. Follow us on Instagram at PixelLitPod. You can also go to our website, pixelitpod.com. From there, you can listen to old episodes, join our Discord, all that fun stuff. Do it. Yeah, do it up.
Do it.
Yeah. And that'll do it. That'll do it for tonight. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.